Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Midweek's Mental Health. Today, we are here to talk about a very interesting and important topic that usually people don't address, that is mental health of doctors, especially those who are uh, primarily working with COVID-19 patients. We have a panel discussion or a series of talks by three different doctors who are working with COVID patients. Is my voice audible?
Hi,
Hi.
Charan. Hi.
Hi, Vani. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Somebody asked me to speak louder. Just can someone comment if me and Dr. Vani, are we audible to all of you? Very low. Okay.
Is this better?
Yeah, I can hear you, Vani. I mean,
Yeah, even I can hear you well.
yeah. Can someone else
Hmm.
comment? Maybe Harita, you need to check your settings. Maybe. Yeah, someone says it's fine.
All
It's
right.
audible. Great. Hi, Vani. Welcome.
Hi, thank
Finally,
you, Charan.
finally, we are
Yes,
doing a live together.
I know, finally.
Yeah, a lot of familiar names. Hi, Tanya. Yes. So, Vani, tell people, where are you working? What do you do?
So I am an ENT surgeon. Charan and I have done our postgrad in the same institute. So yeah, we have been friends for a long time now. I've been working in Mumbai for the last 4 years, and since last 3 months, I am in a jumbo center, makeshift hospital, COVID hospital, which is the largest of India and second largest of the world. It's situated in Mumbai,
Mm,
heart of the city. We have few more centers, but I'm in the largest one. Yeah.
That's why it's called Jumbo, no?
It's called jumbo. Yeah.
Is that the reason?
It is. So we have 2,000 beds, and this is just for wards. And there's an ICU setup as well, which has around 200 beds. So I'm in the ward section.
Fantastic. Um, so, Vani, I have a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Uh, why I'm doing this talk is because usually doctors are the worst patients. We don't take health seriously, probably
Yeah.
because we know quite a bit about it.
Hmm.
And mental health, like, don't even ask about it. Like, we ignore
I
it
know.
to how, even
Yes.
when we're a medical student
Hmm.
itself, like, it's ignored.
Hmm.
So I know, Vani, that you were not in India when you heard the pandemic was announced. I know you struggled
Hmm.
to get back and join work,
Hmm.
and you quarantined
Hmm.
for quite a bit. I'm aware of the
Hmm.
entire struggle. But tell
Hmm.
me, like, when WHO announced that there's a pandemic, what did you
Hmm.
just feel? What's the first few things that came to your mind?
Yeah, so as Charan said, I was in Boston visiting my sister and also doing observership in laryngology in Harvard. So when WHO announced it as a pandemic on 11th of March this year, I was quite shocked because, we knew that there is something, some virus and some diseases happening in China and also parts of Japan which were affected. But, for that to become a pandemic and be worldwide was like a shock, and it was scary, of course. And I think some impractical part of me was thinking ki, acha, this should get okay in a month or two. And this I remember telling my sister that okay, it's just a matter of few weeks, and for all next month is gonna be all right. So I think it was a part of, everyone has that part where you don't want to assume the worst. You are scared and yet you wish that this is just a temporary thing. Never knew it's gonna go on for so long. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think it was maybe denial, fear,
yeah,
and anxiety to even like, what if this goes on for a long time? What do I do? How do I get back home? My parents are all alone there. What will happen? I don't know. A lot of questions in the mind. Yeah. So,
right.
what about you, Charan? I mean, I believe you're in Hyderabad and, being at home and were having a good practice. How did this affect you? What came to your mind?
Hmm. So first, when it got announced, I thought, oh my God, like first of all, initially I felt numb. I didn't feel
Mm-hmm.
anything, to be very honest. I
Mm-hmm.
acted like it's very distant to me. Even though it's in
Mm.
India, I felt like it's still in Wuhan. It's in China. I
Yeah.
thought, oh, it's like one of those diseases. It's going to go away because I think in our lifespan, because we are so young in our practice, I think we haven't experienced a pandemic in this
Of course.
in
Yeah.
capacity for sure,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, we've seen like endemics and epidemics that just they come and go. But I heard
Mm-hmm.
like from my grandparents who are doctors telling that oh, this happened, that happened. I thought, okay, these are the stories that probably we'll never face. So I didn't feel much. I was just treating it like a distant news, following
Mm-hmm.
like what's happening, what's this about, and my medical instincts didn't kick in. To be very honest, I became a
Mm.
lay person who is trying to
Yeah.
figure out, oh my God, what is this? This is a viral condition. So what does virus do?
Yeah. I
We
think
never
it's quite
got.
relatable. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Initially, on a funny flip side, I was thinking, did we read about this in our microbiology textbook, or did I
I
just
know,
skip it
right?
because it's not important?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So I think there are times when you forget you're a doctor. I mean, after all, we are just another human being. But then when such situations arise, we tend to think like a layman as well. Mhm.
Yeah. But then, as the time passed, like progressed, when lockdown got announced and things started physically changing around me, that's when, I had quite a bit of anxiety where, uncertainty is one thing that I can't deal with. I think most of us can't deal
Yeah.
with uncertainty because that too,
Mm.
as doctors, we are certain about a lot of things.
Yep. Mm.
Yeah, I remember, Vani, when you and me,
Mm.
we both had night duty, we both spoke one thing. Curiosity is what makes us better doctors,
Yeah.
and you
Yes.
and me are very curious generally, like we try to like
Hmm.
understand to the molecular level. So I remember that. So uncertainty and thinking that will the protocols work or not, or obviously later I felt like what if my family members get affected. um, Somehow I think as doctors we all take our health for granted. I think I
Hmm.
just didn't want to bring the infection home
Yeah.
because during lockdown I
Mm.
was still working. Only I think 5 days I didn't work because the initial 5 days they asked us to like not come till they figure out the
Hmm.
schedule. Then
Hmm.
I was only worried for my family, to be very honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Mm. Yes.
you finally reached India and you got quarantined, and I know we
Mm.
were in touch. I remember we both
Yes.
talking, and
Yeah.
uh, when you're quarantined, right? What did you
Hmm.
feel? I know you had a nice view in a hotel and everything, but
Yeah.
I told you, man, that view is to
Yeah.
die for. But you told me, not really.
Not
What
really.
went through
Yes.
your head? Yeah, yeah. What went through
Yeah,
your head?
so I mean, it was just 1 week to think about it. 7 days isn't that long a period to be quarantined in one room. But then, it's also a very long time, 7 days in one room when you can't even exit the door of that, room. So no matter how beautiful the view is, I mean, the sea was a big time lifesaver because, it gives you that sense of infinity and the openness. But, you're anxious because, on the day fifth or sixth, you're going to be swabbed and you don't want to be tested positive. There's no human connection. You don't look at anyone, you don't talk to anyone. All you can do is video calls, and not to mention the jet lag you have to deal with. And I mean, unfortunately, on my day 4 of stay, there was a bomb scare as well in the hotel I was staying. So, that was big matter of anxiety as well. The uncertainty that once I go home, I haven't been in my home for 4 days, for 4 months, sorry, what state is it gonna be? And there's no help. I mean, you're gonna do it all alone. The city which I know for 4 years now, how is it gonna be now? I mean, it was a new world altogether. There was nothing in it that you could recognize. So I think just that feeling of being trapped inside that room was horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you did go to work. I mean, just those 5 days you didn't go. I mean, was it? I'm sure that must have been scary for you, right? I mean, to come back home. So, how did you deal with that?
I don't know. I think it was my survival instincts. You know,
Hmm.
the roads were empty,
Okay.
which I always wished for in my life, that roads to be empty, but it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
I kind of missed traffic. I kind of missed a lot of people driving ridiculously.
Mhm.
The city didn't
Yeah.
look the same. I felt like, like the world ended and, a couple of people are just alive because all I would see is like either police or a doctor. I didn't
Yeah.
see anyone else. So it was quite
Hmm.
scary. Um, Then later I felt like, okay, for now I'm not treating COVID patients. Maybe I can be careful. And then news came that, everybody will be put in
Mm-hmm.
for COVID duties. And then immediately for 1 or 2 days, I was very anxious, also saying that, I didn't specialize in it. I don't want to do it. But I think
Mm.
immediately, somehow, I think we'll be okay treating patients no matter what, because we've
That's
seen worse
true.
cases, we've seen worse infections, which are more
Yeah.
contagious and life threatening. So
Mm.
it became all right. I mean, to be honest, my routine was the same, so I'm not really affected as much. I'm only worried for the
Mm.
people whose
Mm-hmm.
routine is drastically affected, who are financially more drained than probably us. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a very sad thing. Now
That's
that you're
true.
treating COVID patients, right? What are
Mm-hmm.
the anxieties? I'm sure, like, at least the initial part of you going to the COVID ward, what do
Yeah.
you feel? What were your concerns?
Uh, so the first day I did dawn into the PP and went in. So no matter how many YouTube tutorials you watch or webinars you attend on how to dawn and how to go, what to expect, once you're in it, it's completely numbing. It's a different experience. So I think at that point you forget all the anxiety about actually going and dealing with the patients. You're more I think all my senses were gone. I mean, you're visually impaired because of those goggles and your face shield you can barely see. You don't wearing three pair of gloves, having two masks and everything. So it's like you don't have that sense of smell, touch, eyesight. I remember when I entered the place, there's a small narrow gallery you go through and then enter the wider space. I remember bumping a couple of times into the walls because I had no sense of, sense of where I'm going and how wide is this place. So that was very weird. So the actual anxiety of what's gonna be inside was all probably subdued because of these factors. But then I think eventually you get used to it,
Yeah.
and being doctors, we have dealt with all kind of weird situations. We discuss often about the things we see, and so that has made us mentally strong. So I think by the end of it, we do put up a brave face and have a positive outlook and say that, okay, this is my responsibility and I'm gonna do this. So that kind of comes above everything else. So I
True.
mean, I believe that even though you are seeing psychiatry patients, you still have to take all the precautions because you never know what's the status of the person in front of you, what kind of background he comes from. So what all precautions do you take and how do you deal with it?
Fortunately, I work with a super specialty hospital. I mean, that is
Mm-hmm.
pretty well sanitized, so they do half of
Okay.
the job. So I'm not as scared. But I'm having to go into COVID wards for
Mm-hmm.
referrals. Initially, for
Yeah.
1 month, I think we managed with the video consultations. But then later, when I had to do their neurological examination and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
doctors have requested it's better I come in, and I felt like okay. But now, by now, my fear has gone, so I'll go. But my problem was more than getting infected, just the suffocation of being in PPE. One
Mm-hmm.
cannot imagine. We'll talk about it later. It.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I'm at my last breath. It was very
Mm-hmm.
difficult, and they gave us a very sturdy, real good PPE. There is no chance of
Mm-hmm.
infection in a PPE, and
Mm-hmm.
it's even more difficult to just be inside that. I felt like I
Yeah.
was trapped under the water, or I don't know. I just felt trapped, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
trapped in an elevator. I don't know. I mean, I read all things about claustrophobia, but if you have to
Mm-hmm.
experience it, I think welcome to PPE. You'll experience it like first hand experience.
Hmm. I'm sure.
It's
I
it's
know.
great. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
You tell me about your PPE experience. I mean, now you must be
Yeah.
okay. Then,
Yeah, but then the days when it is really hot, and especially when you have to go to the wards in the daytime when it is very sunny outside. So I believe that because this is a temporary setup, we cannot have ACs in a COVID center because the whole point is to have a negative pressure circulation inside. So, and all you have is those standees fans, those table fan kind of things, and they just have a very small range where they actually throw the air. And we do have coolers, but then how good are they in a humid environment? So once you put in, you're all careful, you go inside, and then it's suffocation to an extreme level. It's uncomfortable. You barely can see, and this is when you have to actually examine a patient, talk to a patient. We have most of our things are virtual. We have tabs and computers. We don't use paper as much, but still, you are so blinded and blurred, you can't really see what's happening. So it's difficult. You don't feel yourself. You feel like an alien. and yeah, I can't even feel my feet because you have those shoes and shoes cover. So it's a very weird feeling. I remember I was on night duty last night. So last night when me and my colleague went in, I said I really feel like an astronaut doing the moonwalk. Yeah, it's like gravity isn't acting anymore. It's a very weird feeling. It's uncomfortable to an extreme level. But then, yeah, as you said, we do get used to it because we have no other option. And you have to come out of that mindset and put on your, mind working, your engines going so that you can actually think medically and treat the patient. So, yeah, I think we do put in a brave face and we forget a lot of things which we're experiencing physically and mentally both.
But the problem is, Vani, we all put a brave face all the time,
Yeah.
and we really don't deal with like. I think firstly there's no time to deal with, or we just like just be like let's just suck it up. That's how the profession is. You signed up for this, and we know how it's going to be. Um,
Yeah.
Somewhere I don't feel like this is the. I mean, pandemic is a big thing, but I don't feel this infection is the biggest thing that we have seen. We've seen like people die, and we've seen all kinds of terrible things in front of us. Even when
Yeah.
we were 19-year-old, we dealt with like dissecting a human body. Somewhere you just become
Yeah.
stone cold.
Numb, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, my fear is only about people not acknowledging the effort that health community, not just doctors, nurses, even people who work in the hospitals, different kinds of staff, when people don't acknowledge, when people misbehave, doctors still are not misbehaved with, at least not all of us. Some instance, obviously, we are feeling which are horrible. But the other staff, other nurses always get the brunt of it, this is just terrible.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, why do you think people
Yeah.
have this attitude towards that? Oh, it's their job, they're doing it.
I
What's the
know.
big?
I remember sometime 3 years ago when I just started working after my post grad, there were a series of attacks on doctors in the state of Maharashtra. It started with the hospital I worked in, and it was in various other districts. And, it disturbed all of us.
Yeah,
It was like, oh my God, because it doesn't matter if it is you or no. We are all fellow colleagues, we are fellow human beings. One person attack affects us all. So at that point, I remember discussing this particular incident with you because it was really horrible. When I went to the gym in the evening and I told my instructor that, he was like, why are you not up to it today? I said, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling okay because, of the attacks over doctor. And I took it really personally. And, his words were, अब डॉक्टर काम नहीं करेगा तो पब्लिक मारेगा. And I was like, oh my God, did you just say that? What is this like? So is this a human society or a barbaric society that if this person doesn't work, we will just beat that person up? And you won't believe, Charan, I remember talking to you that very night, and I
yeah,
was like, and yeah, and I was like, Charan, what is this? This is how people talk. And I mean, and just a week later, the same person calls me and says that, my kid has so and so problem. I want an ENT to see. And I referred him to the same hospital where the attack had happened. And, all these days he was saying that's a horrible workplace. Doctors don't do work. But when it does come to an emergency, we are the ones you contact. So, we won't take a grudge against you. We will, with a smiling face, take care of you and your family. But then, there is it is very demoralizing.
yeah,
And now when the COVID disease per se is such that if someone is in a bad shape, it is a little difficult to bring that person back, especially in ICU settings. So when just a recent incidents which happened earlier this month in KEM hospital, where a female doctor was abused, and she was we have all seen that video go viral. It's really disheartening. So,
yeah,
bottom line, we are not gods. We are doing our best. We are doing our best in the worst possible situation. We are under physical and mental distress, and yet doing our best. So we don't want you to clap for us or shower flowers over us. No, we don't want that. We just want you to be understanding, and just be understanding. Take care of yourself and support us by just being precautious yourself. That's I think all we want, right? I mean,
true.
I know just a few months ago of someone you knew was also harassed by a layman. I remember we discussed this incident as well. So how was your reaction? How did you feel?
I mean, I didn't know that I had that much rage within me. I thought
Mhm.
I'm a very funny person, but I think the amount of rage I experienced is another level. Not because a trauma has happened. Even if trauma has happened, no one comes into support. I don't see. Forget about in real life. I don't even see on social media people trending the topic.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
I
no one
know.
talks about it. It's almost like somewhere, somewhere some people are like, it nice. They deserve this.
They deserve this.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
I
sad reality.
It's a sad reality. I don't know what. I mean, these days I'm telling my patients, when they come into my room and when they're consulting me, when I ask them, what are the symptoms, immediately they put the mask down to speak. I tell them, please put your mask up. You know, they're like, it's very suffocating. Then I tell them, if you wear your mask properly, we don't have to wear PPE all our life. We can actually get out of it quick. So be considerate is what I'm telling all my patients. Finally, good things,
Yeah.
Vani. Uh, y- how did you survive? Like, what were your survival instincts? I know you did something amazing. I wanted to talk about it
Yeah.
so people get
Yeah.
inspired because people say I don't have time, but I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, if Vani has time, you'll have time too. So, what did you
Yeah.
do?
I see, when things around you go bad or something isn't going right, you have to take care of yourself. Bottom line. I mean, there's no one can help you in that situation. So, I mean, being stuck indoors with my sister, the best company I could have asked for, to be frank. But then, there's only so much you can do indoors. You can just you can cook so much, you can only maybe work out so much, and then what next? So, luckily for me, I was in a place which has beautiful spring. So me and my sister would take evening walks because after a point it was allowed in the city to go out with masks, of course. And then we started appreciating all the beautiful flowers and trees and plants around us. So, then as you said, we are curious people. So the curiosity kicked in again that, what is this called? You won't believe, Tanya and I actually started to give our own names to some of the plants. This looks like this, let's call it this. Then we are like, okay, you know what, let's go back. We would Google and then find out what's the name of this particular flower or plant. And then while she would do her office work during the daytime and I was just sitting idle, I would start reading about them. I have two notebooks full of notes, few pages for each flower or plant. And then I wanted to start sharing it with others so that, these are beautiful things. Let's let others see them and maybe get inspired. So I started reading about them. Tanya has beautiful photography instinct. So she took pictures. So both of us combined uh, had our page started with called Botany through the Otoscope. So I think we have just completed 121 posts yesterday, and we have been. Even though I've come back to Bombay, she's still in Boston. We continue doing that. We take videos and share it with everyone so that they can enjoy. And we have been very lucky because we have amazing support from our friends and family,
Yeah.
and many have been inspired to start a garden of their own. So yeah, anything colorful, we both are artists. We love colors. We have
Yeah.
painted together many a times in college days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I mean, we made the best out of the bad situation.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing? You're a fellow artist, a fellow photographer, amazing skills. So how have you been putting up?
I mean, I concentrated my entire energy into making this page that we are on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had
Mm-hmm.
this page for the last almost 1 year, but
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't concentrate on much. I would share like few things once in a while, but in the
Mm-hmm.
last 1 month is where I actively started health educating, destigmatizing mental health, and understanding how mental health and physical health are co-operational and coexisting together. So I put it all in this together, and I did a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of art, a little bit of photography, um, yeah, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So, Acharan, I have one more thing. As you said, you have been correlating physical and mental health,
Yeah.
with all this anxiety happening. Do you think it has affected you physically?
Um, It did, in a way where
Hmm.
I started gaining weight, not just because I'm eating. My
Hmm.
sleep wake schedule was definitely affected. Even though I was
Hmm.
not doing night duties like you, but still I was not able to sleep through the nights, and
Hmm.
mornings, obviously, I can't sleep. And eventually, I gained some weight, and I started having
Hmm.
little chest tightness, little palpitations, and
Hmm.
the because even like a lot of people don't use the mask properly. Even when police would ask us like, where are you going? When I say hospital, I'm a doctor, they would ask for my ID card. By the time I take my
Mm-hmm.
ID card, he would come so close without his mask. Even that used to
Mask,
give me a
yeah.
little bit of palpitations. I used
Yeah.
to tell, sir, please step back and put your mask up. And you never know how
Mm-hmm.
it turns out, right?
I
So
know, I know.
I
Yeah.
mean, deep breathing exercise is what really worked for me. It really helped.
Okay.
And talking to friends, I mean, all of us were in
Yeah.
touch. I'm glad.
Yes. Yeah.
I think this one time, social media was of great advantage. Uh,
Hmm.
Thanks for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
All right, Vani.
agree.
I
Yeah.
think that's our time. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Charan. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me, Charan. Yeah.
And I'll see
Hmm.
you soon. Bye.
Definitely. Bye, Charan. Bye.
Vani, you'll have to end it. Yeah. All right, that is Dr. Vani. Please check out her um, page, uh, which is all about plants, gardening. I forgot the name. Oh, what is wrong with me? I think it's botany through otoscope. Please check out her work. I think it's fantastic. Now I'm gonna call Dr. Satya to talk about how did she deal with anxiety, or whether she's faced anxiety or not. Yes, it is called botany through the otoscope. Yes. Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's been whole 12 hours that I met you.
Yes, long 12 hours.
Long 12 hours, yes. Yes. I mean, I know what you went through because we were together, and I know the struggle. I mean, we were there for each other, but I want you to tell people, what did you go through when WHO announced pandemic? What were your initial what did you go through? What are the thoughts?
If it's okay to me, for me to be completely honest, I actually thought that many of us are not going to make it. I felt like I'm going to lose a lot of my family, and I thought more than um, me losing my family, I thought my family would lose me because I didn't stop going to work, and I do have some comorbidities, so um, I think it was a panic. To be honest, it's a kind of panic that I can't explain because I don't have anything to compare it with. So it was very it's a different kind of fear, and
Mm,
you're not just scared for yourself because you're like, okay, if it's a disease or an accident or something, a cancer or something, it's just you. But this can affect anyone and everyone.
everyone.
I mean, it affects like in a house, almost everyone can get infected. So
Mm,
that's
yeah, true. Also, you having your family away, like your family is in
yes,
USA.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
did that did that obviously shake you more?
It even today, I'm scared that I might not see them again because I can't stop my routine. I can't stop going to work. I can't stop doing things I do. But I feel like my family in America and in India, the ones that I'm really worried about are going to be fine, and I'm not going to be around to see them. Or I feel like I won't be there to take care of like the elderly people and stuff like that. So
Right, right.
I'm less scared about my family in America because they're all
Yeah,
doing a great job. But yeah,
yeah. When you started going for COVID duties, right? I know
yes.
you were very excited because you like being that person who wants to do adventurous things in your own profession.
Yes.
I know you for that. But I could figure out a sense of anxiety and uncertainty, at least on the day one. So what
Yes.
did you feel on day one of your COVID duty?
It felt like I mean, I felt very proud of myself. I'm going to be honest. I felt really proud that I'm one of the, the frontline warriors. We're not just frontliners anymore. We're the frontline warriors. So I felt I took a lot of pride in doing that, but it was really scary. I mean, like Dr. Vani was just saying, you can't see because you have a mask and they give you like a hood which goes over your head. You can't breathe and you can't speak well, and like it just felt like your body was shutting down.
Mm.
So to work in such a shutdown condition is really difficult. And also the shield that comes over your face, it fogs up from, the expired air of your mask. So, and you really can't even touch anything. You can't clear anything. So it's like tunnel vision. It's like, a horse, it just sees like in front. And you could just see like, when you're writing, you could barely see. And you have to move whatever you're writing with into your field of vision. So it felt like your body was shutting down, your organs are shutting down, you can't breathe, your heart rate stops, not stops, goes down really low. So for your mind to work and for you to finish your work fast and come back, it's it's a task.
Mm. I mean, especially for women, even men, not able to, you can't eat, you can't drink water, you can't sit even in a comfortable way. You can't obviously lie down, unlike our normal night when we were sometimes free.
Yes, yes.
You can't even use washroom.
Yes, you can't.
Yeah, I know lady doctors who are menstruating and went to work to see patients. I know lady doctors who just delivered children and went to work. It's very difficult. It's nothing like we've been before,
Yes,
right?
yes.
How did you cope?
I I'm not an anesthetist or a general physician, so my shift was just in like the COVID wards. It wasn't in the ICU, so I would say I got a little lucky that way.
Mm.
It wasn't as hard as them for me, and also my shifts weren't as long as that. And I had like all the patients I saw were fairly stable, so it wasn't really bad. But what I noticed in my period of work was most of these people, even in the ICU where I work at, they're younger people. They're, from 21 to 40 years old. We barely saw 2 or 3 people who were beyond the age of 50 and 60. Most of them were young people. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, because everybody's thinking, oh, nothing will happen to us. I'm just worried about my mother or my father. That's not true at all. Right. Right.
Actually, if you take the statistics, the younger people comparatively between 20 and 40 are the people who are, not making it through the infection as well
Yeah, true.
right now.
Yeah. But what I was asking was, when you had anxiety or not able to meet your family and uncertainty and all these things, what were your coping skills? Like, how did you, take care of your mental health?
Uh, my dad told me one thing. He said, you're not going through something that's unique. This
Yeah.
is a global thing. Literally everyone in the world is going through what you're going through, and
Yeah.
you are in a situation which is far better than a lot of people.
Yeah.
So the entire world is with you in what you're feeling.
Mm.
So I took a lot of uh, comfort knowing that
Yeah.
every person in the world is going through the same kind of feelings I am.
Yeah.
And for once, whatever you're feeling, even though it's misplaced sometimes, you know that it's the right way to feel, or it's a valid feeling.
Mm.
So
True. But did you Vani was telling that she started botany through
yes.
otoscope and like that. What did you do? Did you do anything creative? What are your coping strategies? I know
Actually,
you baked. No, you baked. I know you baked quite a bit.
yes, yes, but that
Yeah.
was more towards the initial months.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I still work the same number of hours, the same number of days. So I don't know what to say. I caught up on a lot of work. I caught up on, I'm going to be honest, I caught up on some TV shows. I caught up on a little bit of reading. And I spent a lot of time with my grandmother. And I think that's about it. My life basically didn't change other than, being more like wearing a mask and being like, cleaning things more than I would have. My life didn't change as much.
Yeah, I mean, so the take-home message for people would be like obviously staying connected with their family members and being busy, being occupied. Even you don't have to be productive all the time. You can watch a TV
Have
show.
to.
You can, yeah, I mean, you can just relax. You can
I mean,
take it
this year
easy.
you can just watch TV, be on your. I mean, it's always good to be healthy, but you can sit down, relax, and do whatever it is that you want to do. It's like a free reign. This year is free pass for
Yeah,
everyone. Just stay alive till the end of the pandemic. I guess that's it.
true, true. All right, I think that's our time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, bye. I know you're busy. I think you had to go.
Yes, I kind of do. Okay,
Bye.
bye. Take care.
Yeah, you had to end it. You had to end it from your side.
Uh,
There's a cross on the side. You just have to click on that. Yeah. That is Dr. Seth. Yeah, I forgot to introduce her because she's been on my page before. She's an ophthalmologist. She's an ophthalmologic surgeon that is working with a private medical institution called Mamata Institute of Medical Sciences in Bachpally, Hyderabad, who are also treating COVID patients. Now I'm going to call our last speaker, Dr. Spurti, who is an anesthetist in the making, to talk about how did she deal with the pandemic. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. We met what, like we met 4 days back?
Has it been 4 days?
No, it's been 5 days. Yeah, last Friday.
Yes, that was when we had a talk as well.
Yeah. So Spurti, introduce yourself. I think this is the first time you're on my channel, right? I was on your channel, but you're not on my page before. Yeah.
Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Spurti. I'm a first year anesthesiology PG studying in Malareddy. So I've started my own page this year. This is my COVID thing that I did, where I've started cooking. That's also my way to like cope up with mental stress. And I've also a dog, so I think I did a lot of things this quarantine.
Yeah, true. So, Spurti, the first thing, right? I mean, again, I'm asking the same question. When WHO announced a pandemic, what were your initial thoughts?
Honestly, when it comes to the pandemic, I don't think I understood the magnanimity of it, because in India we still experienced the COVID when it got announced, and I think I was still traveling, coming back to Hyderabad. So I did take it a little lightly, but
Yeah.
only once we started this in India, that's when we were like, oh, we have to self-quarantine. This is the way to go. And then, so it was only slowly it seeped in how serious the issue was, and how scary it was turning out. Eventually, when people started getting affected, before it was like, it happened to somebody there, somebody here, but then later it was like, oh, aunt or my friend or my cousin got affected, right? So I think that we understood how bad it
So psychologically, what did you go through? Like, what were your what? I wouldn't call it symptoms, but like, what did you go through? What are the different feelings or emotions or thoughts?
Oh, I think I went through a whole range of emotions. I was glad I got to stay at home and I got to, but that only lasted a bit. After a while, I was like, it's getting a little, you've been socially distancing yourself from everyone. So it started getting a little lonely. Uh, then you like get angry in between because you're like, why are people not being careful?
Yeah.
Remember when the lockdown started getting lifted, everybody started stepping out. So I was like, why? Don't do this. Please stay at home. Like, I remember the doctors are already having a handful of things to do. You don't need more patients at the moment. So I think I
Yeah.
went through a whole range of things. In fact, so when I started my COVID duty, I've only started 1-2 months ago. And the first 2 days that
Spurti, your voice is breaking. I don't know if it's just to me or to everyone. Your
can you
voice is
hear me
like,
now?
no, I can hear you all through. So like in between there are pauses, and are you with good network there?
So sorry.
Yeah. Keep talking. I'll tell you if there's a problem. Yeah. When you started your COVID duties, what did you go through?
So when I started my COVID duties, I think the first 2 days, once I came back home, every day I would be like, I think there's I'm feeling an itch in my throat or there is some pain. Every day I would drink hot water and I would like take vitamin C. I think I had extreme paranoia for the first 2 days.
Hmm.
Remember telling my co-PG also saying, how are you guys doing it? Aren't you guys scared?
Hmm.
What happens to you? And she was like, in the beginning it was difficult, but now we got used to it. So the first 2 days, I was scared to a point where I went and got the test done because I felt like I had all the symptoms I was seeing at the hospital. I was like, I think I have a fever. But I think once the test results came out, it was negative. Then I calmed down and I'm like, okay, I should probably handle this better.
Hmm. I somewhere felt my hospital was safe. I was more scared when I went to a grocery store and came out. I felt like maybe I have an itch in the throat or maybe I have fever.
Yeah, I kept seeing patients, right? And every time they would tell me these are the symptoms they've had, I was like, I think I felt this last night or I felt today,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
more, because all day, that's all you're thinking about, honestly, when you're at the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Your mind doesn't switch to anything else.
Hmm.
So I think that is also a difficult part. Like, if you weren't a doctor, if you were in a different profession, you would have a chance to think about other things.
Yeah. 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 Because we have to be update about the protocols and things like that. So even though we want to avoid certain things, we can't. We have to be on top of the game. Yeah. I know what you mean. I know
The
what you mean.
Because you're reading about it, you're reading about the treatments, what is happening, you're
Hmm.
constantly up to date with things. I think it's also really bad for us that we have to do that, but it's just what is necessary.
Yeah. But my biggest fear was somehow um, like my family getting affected. Right. I mean, as always, I mean, we are ignorant about ourselves and we start caring about people around us. That's just part of that's occupational hazard, maybe. What was your biggest fear? Like that one thing that you said, like, it's a deal breaker. I can't deal with it.
Oh, for sure, my family getting affected because I haven't met my family the whole time I was on duty. In
Yeah.
fact, like when my family got sick, I wanted to go see them, but I couldn't
Yeah.
because I was worried,
Hmm.
one would get affected. So
Yeah.
I think hands down, I think the biggest fear would be uh, my family getting it through me or any which ways. Yeah.
Yeah. True. I mean, that was definitely a big one. Um, how did you feel inside PPE?
Oh, it was hot. It was so hot. Oh my God. I remember seeing this one video of this doctor which went viral where she was dancing in the PP kit to this song called Garmi. I don't know if, and the whole time I was in the like a few moments that song kept playing in my head. I was like Garmi, Garmi, Garmi. And I remember, and there's also this other problem where when you wear the PP kit, if you breathe too much, it fogs up
Fox.
inside.
Yeah.
So this professor asked me to read something and it suddenly fogged up and I couldn't take it off. I couldn't let the whole thing, I couldn't wipe it right from the inside. I was just waiting. I don't know, uncomfortable.
I
But
mean, forget about PP. Even the regular glasses that I wear with my mask, it keeps fogging. And if I'm a patient, I can't even like rub it to something else because everything is potentially an infection around me. So
Yeah,
it was very difficult, even in the car
right.
while driving. Yeah.
Right. Also, when you're in the PPE, right? Honestly, it's very normal to get hungry or thirsty.
Yeah.
But I can't do anything about it because I have to stay in that PPE kit till afternoon or evening or till whenever my duty ends, right?
Mm.
So the whole day I spend, I mean, I know that I shouldn't be dehydrated, but I do not have a choice. I do not get to drink water.
Right.
No, I also don't want to because then I'll have to go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
which is not an option.
Right. Right. I mean, you spoke about like some doctor uploaded a video about like dancing in PPE, right? What I feel is we always underplay the hard work, right? We always try to make it look like fun. Like today, like I'm doing a lot of videos and things like that. Just I hope people take it as like we are trying to smile through the tough times rather than like, oh, they're just chilling. It's not as difficult. Because someone told me that, in fact, some of my extended family told me that, oh, I heard you guys are taking 30,000 per day for treating a COVID patient.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah, I really wish. I really, really wish that
I
that was the case. Yeah.
thinking about the amount of hours we put in, the amount of risk we put ourselves, our family in, the amount of work we do, and how highly underpaid doctors are.
Yeah. I mean, people should understand that 30,000 is taken by the institution that you are at for the facility and for the medication, for the investigations. Doctors are not getting paid anything extra for treating COVID patients. We are getting our normal salaries, and some of us are getting even cuts in our salaries. So whatever money you're spending, don't think it's coming to us.
Yeah,
Just like how you are visiting the hospital for treatment, we are visiting the hospital uh, to be an employee there. If you're
exactly.
an IT professional working in Google, anything that Google gets is not yours. You get paid salary. Only that is yours. So just stop hating on the community of doctors. Even if some doctors are making a lot of money, maybe they're worth it. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure they've worked very hard to get where they are,
Yeah.
but there is,
Yeah.
I think they're heavily underpaid for the kind of work.
Yeah.
And it's not just being underpaid, but we're also overworked in general.
Mm.
We work 6 days a week, sometimes even Sundays.
Mm.
We work festivals. We do not get offs during festivals.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. True.
so I like even a lot of doctors I know, like if you get a call at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you still have to rush to the hospital. Their family life gets affected. And this also takes a toll on their mental health eventually, right?
Yeah, I mean the relationship get affected. That's why usually doctors marry doctors because they understand the pressure
Sure.
or being not available for each other. I mean it becomes like a mechanical life beyond a point. So people should realize that. Vani was saying what an engineer earns in their first year of work is what we get even after years and years of experience. That is very, very true. That is
Yeah.
very true. Yeah,
Oh,
but most of us, people should know. Most of us, I'm not saying all of us. Most of us are in it for the amazing feeling that we feel when we treat a patient, and also the respect that probably we would get, which I don't think so is existing anymore, the glory. But that is this thing. Money is a byproduct. It might come to some people, it might not come to some people, just like any other professional.
I
So it's
think
not fair.
I
Yeah.
think what we're doing today as well, right?
Yeah. Sorry, your voice got cut. What did you say?
And we're doing like the work we're doing today, that's the reason we're doing it.
Yeah, true. I mean, apparently someone asked another colleague of mine that Dr. Chen might be getting paid heavy for each live that he does. That is not true. These lives are I'm doing out of my personal work with help of my family and friends who are also like fellow doctors. That's the only reason. And nobody's getting paid. Even if you're getting paid, I don't think so. We should be ashamed of it. But
Ex-
but we are not. This page is strictly for not self-marketing, not promoting, but I'm definitely promoting mental health and destigmatizing it.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think you're doing work because this is causing a lot of people to like look up and pay attention even to like doctors' problems. I'm sure even if one doctor is looking at this and they're like, okay, I think we need to get help too. I think you've done a lot.
Yeah, yeah, true. Last couple of questions, Spurti. I remember we meeting after like long time in pandemic, and then I told you, hey, one thing that we both gained is like weight and dark circles.
I,
So talk about sleep. How bad was your sleep? My sleep was really taking a toll.
so my sleep was bad because I didn't have a proper work schedule as such, and because
Right.
of I would stay up late, I would wake up late, so my whole cycle got really messed up because of that. And not just my sleep cycle, so did my food intake, because probably I didn't burn as much as I was eating. Also, I was just like, pandemic, the least I could do is eat whatever. I think I ate a lot of unhealthy food, which has
Yeah.
probably affected me mentally, physically, every way. Right?
Right. 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 That's true. Kirit is saying that he really thinks my work is helpful. Thank you so much,
I think.
Kiriti. Yeah, thank you. Also, Vani is saying we have a lot of young doctors die because of COVID too. That is true. Because I think we are repeatedly getting exposed. Our immunity is, I think, anyways, is not very strong. So, that will definitely add up to it. And stress, anyways, weakens the immunity. Um, Deep breathing helps. Yes, it does. Yes, yes. So Spooty, so I think last question, right? What were your coping strategies through anxiety or through insomnia, whatever, name it, any kind of psychological issues that we all faced? What were
Oh,
your coping strategies?
oh, for me, it was cooking. I think I figured out how to make croissants. I think I made like 4 or 5 batches of good croissants. So now I'm like, so I think that was my coping strategy. And like I said, I've adopted a dog as well. So it's really nice to have a pet or company. Um, I think they bring a lot of joy. Here we have Anirudh saying food was his coping strategy. So definitely food, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
I think everybody should find something that they're really passionate about. And I think the pandemic has been a um, great time for people to follow that,
yeah, true, true, true.
because that's what I did. And I actually wanted to tell you this, I forgot, but there were a lot of people when I was in the ward. People kept coming, and I was like, why are you not wearing gloves and all that? Like, they were admins and stuff. They were like, oh, we were just admitted last week in the same ward. So I know a lot of people who are working in the same hospital admitted in the ward. So I know the number of healthcare professionals who were contacting COVID.
Yeah, true. Not just doctors, but also other healthcare workers,
Other
for
health.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
So and I also wanted to mention how one of my friend, she is living alone. She lives alone. She's also a PG working in the COVID wards, and unfortunately, she hasn't been able to get any help at home because they're refusing to work in doctors' houses because
yeah,
what if they contact COVID because they're working in their houses? So
yeah.
this has also been an issue about how people have been treating us
Hmm.
differently compared to
Yeah.
others.
I mean, for 2 months, we didn't have a house help. It was very difficult because we both being doctors and coming back from hospital, and you're extremely exhausted to do like we can do like minimal basic chores, but we can't do beyond that. It's very, very difficult. And also, when you have like older people in the house, they are not getting any help because their children happens to be doctors. That's not their fault. It's nobody's fault. Definitely, that is one thing. And another thing is people who are, I heard a lot of postgraduate students who are staying in like a hostels outside, they were asked to vacate the premises even
Oh,
before working with COVID patients. I mean,
I'm sure.
which was, yeah, I mean, news only picked up a couple of incidents, but I know personally a lot of people through like WhatsApp groups that I'm part of, like different doctor groups. A lot of them face this problem personally. Some
Right,
of them like returned back from their hometown to work for COVID wards, and they were not even allowed into their own apartment.
right,
They said
right,
that if they give the keys, they would go and get them some clothes from their own house and give it to them. They can probably book a hotel and stay, or stay in their hospital facility. I think it's atrocious. It's just it's quite maddening, to be honest.
yeah. I mean, the glory that we get on social media does not match to what we face in real life.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think
yeah,
people should be being very, very careful.
mm,
You come back from the hospital
mm,
because obviously we do not want to. pass it on to our family or anything.
Hmm.
I think do not treat us any differently.
Hmm. The only place I got little royal treatment was in grocery store. That because I scared them saying I'm a doctor in COVID ward. They moved and they gave me the way to go and bill myself first. That's the only privilege that I got. Nothing else.
I mean, I wish I could say the same, but I don't think I've told people yet. Maybe I should try this next time.
You should if you are stuck in a line or something. Yes. Vani is saying even if she was scared how her building people would react to her
Oh,
working in a COVID center. Yeah, like Mumbai is a hot spot for COVID any which ways. Um,
have pointed out to me as well about how there's a doctor living, next to them who's working in the COVID. I think it has gotten better now, but initially people were scared, and those
yeah.
doctors, yeah, I think they were feeling very ostracized from like the society and like their building too.
Yeah, we live in a community where people were like, "Oh, we are so glad that there are a couple of doctors in our apartment because, like, for any small problems like that, we could help." But now they're like, everybody's feeling so unfortunate that the doctors are living in the same society as them because we
Yeah,
could be a potential source of infection. Yeah, true, true. I know what you mean. Um, so check out Dr. Sputi's page. It's called Spoo for Thought. Sometimes not just cooking, but even seeing pictures of like good food can stimulate appetite and maybe gives you that inspiration to go cook and eat healthy. She makes all kinds of food, and it's a new found passion in pandemic,
yeah.
right? It's not like you're not known for your cooking skills before this.
No, I've never cooked before this. It was
Yeah,
something sort of necessity because I was craving like Chinese and other food during pandemic.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
think you guys should all try cooking for fun.
Yeah. Let's put it, that's our time. So the take home message for people is it's okay to be anxious. It's normal, but when it's going above your head, you would know as a person that it's going above me, and please reach out for help. But otherwise, see Dr. Vani through her busy schedule. She started doing botany through otoscope. She started when she was in USA and she's continuing now even through her busy schedule. Dr. Satya was baking and she was bonding with the family even more than before. And Dr. Spurti had started her own cooking page, and so that we can. I'm doing a lot of art. I'm concentrating on mental health education, which is always my passion, even before I wanted to become psychiatrist, because I had some personal losses secondary to a psychiatric problem. So this is a great time to all of us to realize our potential and work towards getting better as a community. Thank you so much, Spurti.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, you have a good night. I'll catch up with you soon.